So welcome back. In the last video, we have discussed about the basics of public relations campaign. So we discussed about campaign and public relations and public relations campaign. What are the objectives? Why do we need something called a public relations campaign? Or a few exams. And in this video, we are going to discuss about, or we are going to explore certain models which we can use in public relations campaigns. So if you are so these models will help you to strategically plan your public relations campaign. Okay, and the first model is raise or ROP models. And I told you in the last video, like we have taken many models from marketing and communication and all, and we use it in public relations, and so that you can actually plan your uh, campaign in a better manner. Okay, so one such model is this one, that is RAISE or ROB model. And you can see that this RAISE stands for Research, Action Plan, Communication Tactics and Evaluation, and ROB, Research, Objective, um, Plan and Evaluation. So like almost the same. I mean, it is the same. Okay, and so these four things are very important in a public relations campaign. You should have a proper research. So you have to do the research. When you identify a problem, you have to do a proper research. Then you have to kind of formulate something called objective. Then you have to do the communication tactics. Then last, the evaluation, whether it reaches the public or whether it has any effect on the public, that you have to study. And the raw formula, the public relations industry continues to evolve as new media are introduced and technology changes the way people access and share the information. See, when you start working in industry, you'll realize that whatever you studied is not at all applicable in the current scenario, because whatever you study in your classes is more kind of a theory and the old or the traditional practices of public relations. Okay, but when you go to the industry and start working there, you will understand, okay, this is new, this is entirely different. Here the new media is ruling. The whatever things we learned in the classes are actually outdated. Okay, yeah. So the new media has actually made tremendous changes in the public relations industry as well. So still, no matter how they are executed, successful PR campaigns rely on careful planning. I told you, even there is social media or any media, so careful planning is important. So that is the basic you study in your public relations classes. Okay. The ROPE model or the ROPE formula of public relations is a helpful format for preparing and putting into action targeted PR campaigns. ROPE is an easy to remember acronym for its four-step process, that is research, objectives, programming, and evaluation. Okay, it's very simple, right? Yes. And ROPE can be modified to fit many specialized areas of public relations, including employee relations, integrated marketing communication, and crisis communication. So, the benefit of this particular formula is, you can actually fit this thing into any field of public relations. And the ROPE formula breaks down the public relations campaign process into four sequential steps, that is research, objective, programming, and evaluation. So using ROPE as a template from the start of PR initiative helps you to analyze, plan, implement, and control your campaigns within a formal structure. I told you this actually gives you a formal structure. So it is easy, like when you have a template, especially if you're creating a brochure or a banner. If you have a template in your hand, this is very easy. Even if for a letter a template is there, then it is easy. You just delete the unnecessary part and you just put your information. Okay, your thing is ready, your letter is ready, your brochure is ready, right? Like that, if you have a formula, Okay, research. Okay, I have to do research. Then you have to plan. Then you have to do this. You have to do that. So if there is a clear-cut idea or a blueprint is there, then that's easy for you. So that's why we use this kind of formulas. Okay. And what is research? The first point we are going to discuss about the first point, that is research. Research means what? Gather information. So before you start a PR campaign, you should understand the background behind it. So usually, why do we conduct PR campaigns? So probably for the reputation of the company. We have already discussed in the last video. Okay, to improve the reputation of the company, or to probably to handle a crisis, to tackle a crisis, or you're launching a new product or something, or you want to create a something for the community. You want to improve your community relations. So it can be anything. Okay, so you have to understand the background. Okay, that is very important. Okay, so first you identify the opportunity or the problem that forms the basis of your campaign. So you have to have a problem or an opportunity. So you have to identify whether it is a problem. If it is crisis, obviously there is a problem, right? Yes. Then you have to identify that. Or when you're doing a PR campaign, okay, I am going to promote this particular product. So you have to identify the opportunity of this particular product. So that is very important. How it is like, so you have to study about its competitors, and how can you introduce this particular thing, or how can you attract the people. So that you have to keep in your mind. Okay, and then you ensure that you have a solid knowledge about the information about the organization you represent, understanding its history, current position, and the future objectives. You also need to know where the company sits in its market compared to its competitors. So that is very important, right? So where your company stands, that is very important. So you have any product, if you take, you have competitors. So where do you stand in that? So that is very important. And finally, you should research the company's audience, taking time to investigate your past PR initiatives and the way the external shareholders, such as customers, feel about your organization. That is also very important. So that is all about research. You gather information. You have to spend some time to gather such information. Next is objective. So setting your objective. You are doing a PR campaign, so you should have an objective. That is very important. So in the second stage of the rope formula, you set one or more measurable objectives for your campaign based on the opportunity or problem identified in the research stage. Typically, objectives are outputs, outtakes, or outcomes. For example, an output objective might focus on achieving media coverage, the outtake of or changing audience awareness, an outcome of an action such as an increase in sales or web traffic. It can be anything. So if if your objective is to improve your web traffic, then you have to set an objective in that way. And if your objective is to improve your sales, you have to set an objective in that way. If you have to improve your media coverage, you want a presence in the media, then you have to do it accordingly. So your client may not be specific about what he wants from the campaign, but you should be, right? If you are a PR person, uh, your client will come and tell you, probably I want to improve my sales, or I want more presence in the newspaper, or I want people to know about my product via newspapers, through newspapers, TV channels, and all. But what they want is, so they will just tell you, but they don't have any idea about what you call a specific about what he wants from the campaign, but they want to run a campaign. So ultimate aim is this, but you should have that thing in your mind. For example, if he tells you to build brand awareness with younger consumers, you could set an objective to increase Facebook likes and social media interaction in the 16 to 25 age group. Suppose if you want to improve the uh, you know social media presence of your college. You can do that. You are all, students learning about media. So ultimately, what you want, what's the outcome? You want for more Facebook likes, more Insta likes, more YouTube subscribers. Yes, for that you have to work. You have to do a research. What do? You study about similar institutions or your competitors, right? Then how are they, like, what is their status in the social media? Okay, do they have like more likes, and what about their and YouTube subscribers? What sort of video they release on YouTube? So all these things you need to study, and based on that you need to create an objective. And programming is very important. That is like basically the planning and implement your campaign. So once you understand where your campaign should go, you must plan how to get it there and launch it. So in the programming stage, you decide which PR communication tool to use to meet your objectives, taking into account the messages you need to convey, the audience you are targeting, and the media you need to use to reach the audience. During this stage, you also set your budget. When you are done with your plan and your budget, you are ready to start creating and running the campaign. So, suppose if you want to improve your Facebook likes, what will you do? How can you improve it? So, you kind of list out the plan. Okay, you can share it through your WhatsApp group. Okay, you can reach out to your alumni. You can reach out to the stakeholders like parents and all. You can run a campaign on your Facebook page, so probably some competition or not, so people will start liking your page. So it's like you can choose any the plan. It's up to you. You are so creative. When you sit and think, when you have a brainstorm session, the ideas will come to you. Okay. And evaluation, that is very important when you do a PR campaign, whether it is a success or not. So then only the circle will be complete, right? Yeah. So although you should monitor a PR campaign on an ongoing basis, so you can modify if it is necessary. Okay. So you are running a campaign on social media, but not you are not getting the expected likes on the page. What would you do? You should understand that okay, there is some problem in your page or the campaign. People are not okay with that campaign. So what would you do? So probably you can, kind of, restructure, or, kind of you can make modification in that. Okay. So this is the last stage for the raw process. During this stage, you can go back to your original objectives and measure the results of the campaign against them to see how successful it has been. Or if things did not go so well, you can look for pointers on where your plan failed. You may need to justify the results of the campaign to your boss or the client. This is much easier if you have hard stats to back you up. So evaluation is very. So that was all about rope. And the same way, raise is also there. Raise also you can apply. Okay, raise is an effective process to follow when developing a strategic PR campaign plan if you want to have a strong and mutually beneficial relationship with your policies. The RAISE process encompasses the following four phases, that is research, action, communication, and relationship building and evaluation. So this is the RAISE formula. See, RAISE was the first widely used acronym associated with the public relations process, although they seem to have moved away from using it. In later editions, RAISE was probably first used as public relations acronym by Scott Cutlip and Alan Center when they were writing the later revising the first edition of the landmark textbook Effective Public Relations. So, despite this, John Marston is the person most closely associated with RAISE because he featured it so extensively in his 1963 book, The Nature of Public Relation. And it was soon after the book that the Public Relations Society of America began citing race in its brochures and advocating it as a fundamental best practice for those seeking accreditation. And race describes public relations as a four-step continually cycling process. It involves again research, action, communication, and evaluation. And you can see that there are n number of formulas available. You can use any formula, any of this formula to develop your public relations campaign. This is just a guideline. So the idea is yours. Okay, so we'll just discuss about this thing also. Okay, research. R stands for research. Find out about the situation facing your organization, how they came about, who is involved in them, how they relate to your organization goal, and how you, as a public relations practitioner, can maximize the benefit and or to minimize the harm they might do. Same point. Okay. Next is action. Uses your research findings to determine the best course of action. Plan your response and then implement these plans. So some race proponents call this step assessment instead of action, but they invariably include same activities. Assessment or action, same activity. Then the next is communication. Takes advantage of all available media to deliver carefully focused messages through the most appropriate channels so they can have positive effects on each of your organization's public. Last is evaluation, analyzes what's been done during the first three steps to see how it affected your publics and their perception of your organization. Once this step is completed, you return to the research step and begin the process again. So this is, I told you, this is a circular thing, so it just continues. Okay. And other some of the approaches like PACE for planning, action, communication, evaluation. Then ACE is there, assessment. Assessment includes research and planning, then communication and evaluation, and next some alternate forms like GRACE is there, goals setting, research, assessment, communication, evaluation. Then there is STARE, okay, that is again a 5-step approach, that is like scan the environment, track media coverage, analyze what scanning and tracking revealed, respond, evaluate. And next is ROSI, that is research, objective, strategies, implementation, and evaluation. So these are all different approaches available, and you can use it in your, public relations campaign planning. So it kind of gives you a scientific approach or a formal approach to your public relations campaign. So that's all. So these are the, the particular approaches what we use. It's up to you. You can select any of these things. And RAISE and ROPE are like, it's kind of, quite popular models. That's why we kind of, explained it more. Okay. And next I'll give you an example. Okay. It's a case study by the 360-degree PR, one of the important PR agencies. And the campaign name was Take Your Dog to Work Day. Interesting, right? Yeah. So opportunity, I told you, we always identify an opportunity or a problem here. So the opportunity identified. So these are all case study. If you go to any, like, see this PR agencies pages, if you go to their website, you can see n number of case studies there, the supporting documents there. You can watch it, you can read it, and you will get an idea how they implemented this PR campaigns and the results of these PR campaigns. It's really interesting. Okay. And this example, this case study, they have mentioned about the opportunity. So, Take Your Dog to Work Day was long celebrated by Well Pets Wellness brand. So, it was run by Well Pets Wellness brand. So their goal was to take the story beyond regional press. Regional press. So their aim. So why they have introduced this, this particular campaign. Um, so take your dog to, yeah. So their goal was to take the story beyond regional press, generating national coverage that positioned Well Pets wellness brand as a champion of pet-friendly workplaces nationwide. So that was actually the opportunity or their aim or their objective when they did that campaign. Okay, in the process, they raised awareness of wellness with more pet parents and engaged them on the wellness brand digital channels. And the approach they used, okay, the strategies you can say. So they used content creation and custom research as a means of establishing wellness as an authority on pet friendly workplaces. And their research found nearly half of the pet parents, employers don't allow pets at work, and 53% said their companies didn't have official pets at work policies. And they saw an opening. Wellness would not only report the data but provide tips that would have everyone wagging their tails. They created the wellness etiquette guide and distributed it via the wellness brand site and Facebook. They also curated the publicized list of America's top pet friendliest companies source to wellness. So imagine they identified an opportunity and they kind of did a thorough research on that and they developed an approach based on that. And what was the outcome? Just the single event effort resulted in 200 plus million impressions across earned and social media. See, they met their objective. And their video content reached 4 million on Facebook with zero paid support and 30,000 of video views by their target millennial pet parents. Time spent on wellness website increased to more than 2 minutes per visit. See, so that is outcome they received from or the result or the evaluation of their effort. So don't you think it is interesting, like when you do a PR campaign and when it becomes a success thing, like it's really nice, right? So just you can watch the video what they have published in the YouTube and all. It is very interesting video. Just watch it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, so here in our country, this pet parenting is not that common, but still we have, like, probably we will also in the coming years, like, we will also do such kind of campaigns here. But in our country, like America, it is like, it's pretty popular and, everybody does that. Pet parenting is quite common there. Okay. That's all about public relations campaign. Hope you got a clear idea about public relations campaign. If you have any questions, you can ask in the discussion forum, or you can ask me in the live classes. We can discuss it in the live classes. Hope you enjoyed the sessions. Thank you so much.